Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to be walking you through a complete guide to the personal aquarium and the best way to make money out of it with the best fish you should be using. So I'm going to be covering everything from the mechanics to the things you should be putting in depending on your goals, all that, since there's a lot of complex things a lot of people actually miss out on from optimizing your thing. As a quick note though, soon they have leaked towards updating and adding an equip best or some functionality around that. So hopefully we'll have that integrated soon, but currently we're just working with this. So I'm going to be explaining this alongside all these things. So here I'm going to be showing you all this stuff, but right now I'm personally going to be focusing on, for example, of the video, I'm going to be focusing on just money specifically, but you can farm 3 different items inside of the aquarium. There's going to be first items, and today might just be your lucky day, but if you're watching this video within 1 week of it coming out, then you will actually be able to enter into my FISCH set giveaway. I'm going to be giving away every single fish for this, and to enter, all you need to do is go down and click that hype button, and then hype this video, and then go and comment your Roblox username down below. But once again, hype this video, comment your Roblox username, and that will enter you into the FISCH giveaway. And I'm going to be giving this away to multiple people, which is like physical items you can get from it, and then there's going to be XP, and then there's going to be money. Now right now I'm personally working on money just because, you know, it fits the video theme and all that, but a lot of people do is prioritize specifically items and all that. Now last time I prioritized items, I was able to make, I think, 67 items an hour. I think the most optimal is using like fragments and relics. You can get exactly, I think it's like 70 something. I think it's literally like 73 or 74 items an hour. Now what I will say is this is very different on what you want. So if you have a lot of money, there's no rod really you can buy, and you want to get relics, nukes, potentially you want to get the curse nuke, things like that, your best bet is going to be using items and specifically for that. So how the aquarium mechanic works. So a lot of things in the aquarium depends on what you're trying to farm. So for money layouts, it looks completely different to XP layouts, and XP layouts are completely different from item layouts. So since I'm farming money currently, let me start by explaining the money mechanic. So as you can see with the money formula, there's actually a huge thing. So hourly credits or money is profit is calculated based on 25% of the current value of the fish placed in the player's aquarium. The final formula can be calculated like this. So final hourly thing, round up weight number multiplier. So this is the weight multiplier that the fish has. So if it's 2 times as big as the original size, multiplied by the base price, which is the multiplier. So say the multiplier is 2x multiplied by the base price, and then the combined multiplier, and then all this, the rarity penalty, and then the fish food multiplier, and then as you see, divided by 5. So the rarity multiplier, as you can see, Apex, Extinct, Secret, and Exotic. Now they did merge Cataclysmic with Apex because a lot of people, a lot of people were using specifically Cataclysmic fish and their thing, and they were getting a lot of money and value out of this because they were very rare, very overpowered. But the issue is this rarity penalty is designed for making rarer fish have less penalty, and Cataclysmic was becoming not so rare, so they had to pretty much merge it with Apex and nerf it. So now obviously you can still make plenty of value, and the best fish is going to be using the limited from that, but I'll explain that in a second. So when you are trying to farm money specifically, here are a few things you can optimize. Now firstly, there are a bunch of things you can change. So as a note, a lot of people do misunderstand the multipliers and system to that mechanic, but I'd personally like to explain the items and XP first because it makes it make more sense. So firstly is going to be items. This is the one that surprises me the most. You actually make the most off of items that aren't even fish in the first place. So as you can see, when you break it down, the hourly items is actually super simple. So hourly item profit is determined by the rarity of the fish multiplied by this. Now the rarity of the fish, as you can see, is completely random. It doesn't have anything to do with this, but as you can see, the trash makes 1 item an hour, common and uncommon make 2 an hour, and then unusual, extinct, apex, and cataclysmic make 3 an hour, rare, special, legendary, or rare and special make 4 an hour, legendary, limited, and secret make 5 an hour, mythic makes 6, exotic makes 7, gemstone makes 8, relics make 9, and fragments make 10, meaning the most optimal format you will literally have, as you see, is all 5 fragments and 3 relics. Now the 5 fragments are going to be as following in case you're trying to get these specifically. So you have the normal fragments, the deep sea earth fragment, and then the solar, and I believe the other one is something else, but that is all from Ancient Isles. So as you see, yeah, solar, earth, ancient, and deep sea fragment. Now the 5th one, I actually haven't even caught this yet. This is going to be over at Snowcap Island. It's going to be caught here. It's in a different section, actually. It's in the snow burrow, yeah. I believe it's this one right here, the exotic, or no, the fragment, but you know, because that's a whole rarity in and of itself, but it's going to be this. So that 5th one will actually give you even more value. Now the relics are simply cosmic relics, exalted relics, and enchant relics. So you'll use 1 enchant relic, 1 cosmic, and 1 exalted. Those 5 fragments and 3 relics are going to be the 8 in total, because you can only hold 8 in your aquarium, meaning you'll get the most out of that. And then when you combine that with the hourly fish food, it'll give you even more value. And these are going to be, personally, the best item I've gotten is I've gotten Song of the Deep. Rarest item is not the best item technically. Best item would be like a curse nuke, but I've gotten Song of the Deep. I've gotten multiple of these relics when I was farming specifically items and a few bloop cosmetic crates. So, I mean, realistically, it is worth grinding this specifically if you're trying to get these relics and don't have Mobies or anything like that. Now, your hourly XP. So this is where it gets a bit different. So your hourly XP profit is 20% of the fish's base XP. Because of this, the Elder Mossjaw and Colossal Ethereal are the most optimal choices because they are naturally obtainable, each providing about 140,000 XP an hour. Now, essentially what this means is when you catch a fish, the XP you get off of it, not the if you perfect catch it doubles, but the XP you get off of it, it is going to be 20% of that. Now, I only would recommend it like it's at Elder Mossjaw and Colossal Ethereal because these are events you can actually spawn in normally. Obviously, some things like the Singularity are going to be way better, which is awkward because I might have actually sold mine. Oh no, never mind. I put them in my aquarium. Yeah, I completely forgot I used my aquarium storage. So you're going to come over here. Yeah, open storage. Yeah. So in here, so let me find it. Yeah, Singularities. So Singularities are going to be the best item for this. So I'm going to use I'll just do Clockwork one that I have. So this thing right here, so this is going to be the best technically for XP because when you catch this, you're going to get 1 million XP out of it, being the highest singly, but you can only get this during admin abuse and it is naturally very rare. So if I were to replace something like this giant mastered supersized Skyla, this generates 100,000 XP an hour, and put the Singularity in, this thing generates 200,000 XP an hour. And then like it was saying previously, the Ethereal Dragon would generate around 140,000 an hour, as you can see, and a Mossjaw just spawned in, not an Elder Mossjaw, but it is the best one for that. Now, the next thing is outside of this, for the most part, I would honestly recommend using that if specifically if you're trying to get that. Now, one of the other things as a quick note that I have had the best luck with is using not only admin abuse for XP, but things like what you can use, I mean, personal preference at least. You want to come here, right? And depending on the rarity you have, I mean, obviously secrets, naturally caught secrets from events are going to give you a lot of XP. So if say you catch a Skyla, as you see, the XP gain from this 700,000, but say you catch a Skyla, now you catch a Skyla, 500,000 XP, you can get a bit higher, like to the 600,000, not 700,000, but this one is going to be 500,000. Then it'd be 20% of this, which is way better than some other things you can put into the thing. But then I know some other ones like the Mossjaw alone has also 500,000, and this one I feel like is way easier to get than the Skyla. But obviously this is down to preference. Now for the final note, which is going to be money. Now for money, it's going to be one of the main things in general that most people obviously have the main concern with, but money is it's tedious, let's just say. So you might remember people, showing screenshots of making hundreds of millions, but this actually got nerfed. But it technically wasn't actually nerfed. The devs just introduced a formula and a way to keep the economy from being destroyed with, people with just some fish in their thing. Same way they removed Cataclysmic and merged it with Apex. They nerfed the system. People said by around 80% on average. It might have technically been by 80%, but it wasn't literally like they just cut the value by 80%. So here's the way, it's kind of simplified. So hourly money obviously is around 25% of the current value of the fish in your aquarium. And then so if a fish is worth 10 million, you would get around 2.5 technically. But, obviously, as I was saying before, there are penalties and mutation values, multipliers, and all this blah, blah, blah. So if a fish is worth 10 million credits, there's a whole multiplier around that. But most people would misunderstand this part about multipliers. Here's a breakdown. So bonus multipliers, sparkling and shiny, these do matter, but not as much as other things. So sparkling and shiny are both equivalent to 1.5. So if you get both of them is I believe, additional. So it's just a double on the value. These do matter, but most other mutations matter more than this. Now, ideally, obviously, your best fish potentially caught would be like sparkling, shiny, giant, tryhard, whatever. But I mean, realistically, you're not going to ever get anything like that. But nonetheless, what you might assume is, you could appraise the fish to get sparkling and shiny on it, and then appraise it till you get like the best potential fish from appraisal, which is like shrouded, I believe. But this is not the case. This is actually going to still lose you value if you do this wrong. So one of the best ways you can do this is going to be using bait mutations. Now, bait mutations using specific baits like the UFO. I know there's some other ones. My personal favorite is the taco bait, since this gives a 14x. And on my personal aquarium, I have a fish, which is, as you see, the giant spicy corrupted moss lurker. This is generating a lot of continuous revenue for me personally, and we just claimed 6.7 million. But that one I got using the Nate's rod as I'm using right now, and I had the taco bait equipped. Now that was pretty simple to catch too, because it's a rarely good rod. You could use UFO bait, other admin abuse red bait, and stuff like that. Next thing is going to be the fish size alike. So you want to make sure your fish base kg caught is actually way bigger than naturally. So the base kg of a fish, obviously you can use the treasure appraisal, but when you first go to the treasure appraisal, which I'll explain in a second, the size of the fish when you first catch it is its base kg. Now, even if this is caught with something like, giant, massive, big, or whatever, it'll still be the base kg when you start to appraise it. Now, one of the main things I've come to know is, you might look at Evil Pitchfork, see Overlord, and be like, oh yeah, that's the best one for, kg, but it could be the best, but it's not the best. I personally, obviously, Nate's Blade guarantees a 100% size size increase. And then Sea Overlord, Sea Friends, this guarantees a 160 to 170% increase to fish caught size. And then on top of that, taco bait, you know, all fish I'm going to catch are going to be roughly 170% bigger and have a 14x increase on their value right off the bat using that bait. Very, very tremendously better than using something like Evil Pitchfork, and at best maybe 100%. Sorry, my game crashed, but it would be way better than getting like 100% size increase and then like this 8x from like, you know, Evil Serene or whatever it's called. But this is not me saying that is a bad rod to use. It is still very good, but realistically the max is going to be for legit. Now obviously there are some people that, I mean, hyper inflated, like they make nearly 15 million or more an hour. This is, to say the least, very much impossible for normal players that either don't have, you know, benefits from other systems or aren't hacking pretty much, or gotten their thing from a hacker. Now my reasoning for this is I know plenty of people that are in the content creator program for fish and they get plenty of just handouts, we'll just say. So personally me, right, taco bait, this comes in stock. Any almond bait that comes into the shop, you can only buy 15 of it, as you might know. So you can only buy 15 of that bait, meaning any normal player will only have 15 of that bait to use, so you have to use it wisely. Now some content creators I've seen using this bait for their videos and all this stuff, they've had hundreds of this bait, which is not possible unless, you know, you get an admin handout. Now this is just to set a standard for your understanding of value. Now realistically, I would say for non-bugged fish, you know, things like that, realistically, you should be able to aim for at least 5 million easily if you have really good fish caught. But for the most part, once again, the rarity penalties is a must look at, but obviously I would recommend to be realistic with the 5 to 10 million range being the most and around best you can look for. But for the most part, I will be updating this when the next soft patch comes out for this on the weekends, and there are many updates, so make sure you do stay tuned for that. But pretty much, thank you so much for watching. If you have any other questions, make sure to leave them down below.